You all gotta be quiet now, cause I
Why don't
Good evening, everyone. Hi, my name is Beaumont Todd. I am the training officer here at the Department of Inland Revenue. Thank you for joining us this evening. My apologies about the back. Let's fix that. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this evening we will be talking about the business license process for first-time applicants, as well as a little bit about the renewal process, as well as we'll be talking about a trade name and the process of applying for the trade name, which is one of the essential components for you actually applying for your business license. We just want to open up real quick with a quick prayer, and then we will have a welcome by Mr. Benjamin Pratt. Heavenly Father, we praise you. We thank you for your grace and mercy, oh God. Thank you for all those that are here and all of the information that will be shared, oh God. We pray that each individual, each business person, oh God, gets something from this session, oh God, that would help them, oh God, to be glorified to you. And I ask you to guide us by your grace and mercy. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Mr. Pratt, are you there?
Hello.
Okay, Mr. Pratt, are
You
you
can
still
hear me
muted?
now? You can hear me now? Oh,
I can hear you, Ben.
okay. It seems as though he can't.
Yes, I can, Mr. Pratt. My apologies. You
Okay,
can go ahead.
great. Thank you so much. Yeah, as I was saying, I am so pleased that we have been able to partner with the Department of Inland Revenue to provide members of the Andros Ecotourism Collective with the information that they need to formalize their businesses. We pleased really because in 2020, we would have received some support, grant funding from the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility, which allowed us to be able to execute the Andros Community-Based Tourism Cluster Project. During that time, we've had a number of persons who receive training in terms of in enhancing their businesses, improving their capacity through workshops from CTO, Caribbean Tourism Organization. We also had a number of certification programs that came online with BAMSI, which trained and certified more than 40 flat fishing guides and nature tour guides, as well as business marketing and technical support from a specialist marketing agency called Trove Tourism Development Advisors. So the next step for us in going forward really is to assist those businesses. There are some 130 of them now that are part of the Andros Ecotourism Collective. And we really want to have those businesses to become formalized in terms of getting a business license so that they would be recognized as established businesses, so that they would be able to do business with government entities, and to be able to move forward and become, when we form the association later this year, by June of this year, next year, sorry, that they would become bona fide members of the association. And so I just want to say on behalf of Ms. Crystal Bethel, who is the Senior Director for the Sustainable Tourism Department of the Ministry of Tourism, and who has really been at the heart of making this happen. Again, I just want to welcome all of you from Andros who are on this Zoom call tonight. And again, would wish to express my appreciation to the Department of Inland Revenue, especially Ms. Roll, the senior statistician who really worked hard to make this happen. And again, to you, Mr. Beaumont Todd, training officer for being here tonight to facilitate this. Again, on behalf of the Ministry of Tourism, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe. Not a problem, Mr. Pratt. So we are actually going to just roll straight into our session this evening. So one of our first presenters is going to be Ms. Charlene Barton, who's going to speak to you on business license. She's going to go through the process of the various business license types, the categories that there are. In addition to that, then she will go through the process of basically talking to you about the process of getting a business license for the first time, what it is that you require, what you need in applying for a business license, and then possibly speak a little bit about when you have to renew the business license, where basically you're dealing with the business license actual annual and the business license actual estimate. So we'll be getting that started in a few moments. I would ask you to please hold any of your questions to the end of the presentation to allow her to get through the presentation so that all of your questions can be answered. And please don't be afraid to ask any question that's necessary. This is what the session is for tonight, to make sure that we are able to help everyone at the end of the day to be able to get their questions answered, understand the process, and get through the process at the end of the day. The most important thing is to please understand we are all in this together, working to make sure that you have the information that you need and to make sure that you're able to be, we could say, compliant, so that you're able to continue the wonderful business that you've been doing and helping us in the process. Ms. Barton, whenever you're ready, just let me know. Okay. All right, so Ms. Barton's coming in right now. Just give me a moment and then we'll get started real quick.
Mute. Hello.
Yes.
Mr. Todd, I'm not sure whether or not she's began already, but we're not hearing anything.
Say something again.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm Ms. Barton, Charlene Barton from the Department of Inland Revenue. I'm the registration supervisor here. I mostly deal with business licenses, renewals, new businesses, any changes to the business license, as well as VAT registration. I'm just going to go over a few points and walk you through a process of a business license. The first question is we always ask is, what is a business? There's a lot of persons out there who think what they're doing are not a business. As long as there is money being generated, you provide a service and someone pays you for that service, according to the Business License Act, you should be registered for a business license. All right, we can go through who needs a business license. All persons conducting business in or without the in or from within the Bahamas within the Bahamas must be granted a license according to our act. The types of business licenses we have, you have an annual, This is the most common one that is granted calendar year, January to December. You have occasionals. These ones are mostly used for regattas, any pop-up shops during the holidays or during any festive season. And you also have temporary that are granted to foreign individuals and companies. Time for renewal. All licenses expires on the 31st day of December. And all licenses an application must be submitted before the 31st day of January. So even if you get your license on December 28th, that license expires on December 31st. And your renewal application should be in before January 31st. If the application is not in by the 31st, you will be charged a minimum fee of $100 for a late filing fee. I'm just going to go over some prerequisites you would need before you can come on to our portal to submit for a business license. Those are the trade name approvals, NIB business registration, physical planning, Ministry of Works, Environmental Health, and Royal Bahamas Police approval. Mostly you reside in the island. So physical planning, Ministry of Works, and Environmental Health are normally carried by the island administrator's office. So you would need a letter from the island administrator giving you permission to have a business on the island. Apart from those, you're also going to need your passport. If you do have the new e-passport, you wouldn't need to provide us with your NIB card. If you don't have a passport, you would need to provide us with a voter's card and some other form of government issue identification to confirm that you are a Bahamian citizen. For those who work for foreigners, they would need to have Bahamas Investment Authority approval. If your business is not operating from home and you're in a location, you would need the lease agreement from the landlord, as well as if you're incorporated limited company, you would need to provide us with the certificate of incorporation, your memo and arts, and your articles of association. That's going to go with the fee schedule. Once you receive your first initial license, that is free. Anytime thereafter, when you do your renewal, if your turnover is from 0 to 100,000, you are exempted. Anywhere from 100,001 to 500,000, you're charged on 0.5%. Anywhere from 501 to 5 million, you are then charged on 0.75%. Anything over 5 million, you are then charged on 1.25. Temporary licenses are calculated on the total value of the contract, and that is charged on 1.5%. Occasional licenses are $25. All right, let me explain to you what is the business, the BLA. We call it the BLA, the business license annual actual. This is what you would give us for your previous year return. So when you apply on our system, you will have to give us one figure when you're first initially applying, which would be your business license estimate. That which you're thinking that what the business would make. So you would give us an estimated figure. If that figure goes over the $100,000 mark, you would also pay a fee on that figure. Then once you give us that estimate figure, then you would come back and give us your actual. This would be what the business actually made. So you would give us a blah, we call it. So the first thing you'll do as a first timer, you will give us an estimate of what the business is projected to make. You might be in talks to have a government contract, or you may have a personal private contract with a local company. Those are estimated figures that you would give us. And then once that year has gone and you're now in 25, you're going to give us, okay, hey, I actually made this amount. So when you're looking on our system, you're going to see it's going to ask you to file a business license actual. Just know before you file the actual, you have to file the estimate first. All right. When it comes time for renewal, we have changed up the system a bit. Real property tax assessment number now is included. This also goes for the family island as well. Once it is registered, you also get a real property tax. These are more for commercial locations. We would need that number. However, if your business is anywhere from 250,000 to 4.9 million, you will provide us with an accounting certification letter. If you're over the 5 million mark, you'll provide us with audited financial reports. We can open the floor for questions.
Okay, if anyone has any questions, this will be the time you can ask your questions.
Hi, good evening. I wanted to ask, I know the lady said that if you were having a company, you needed a certificate and memorandum, the MOR. What I wanted to know is if I already have my business license and then I got a certificate for the company, what do I do to be able to make them one?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
I want to register the company and attach the business license under the company. So, you have a company and you have trading ads. How do I go about doing that now? So I got the business license first and then I got the company.
Okay,
And so
when you
now I
said you
want to be
got
able to
the
bring them in.
when you said you got the business license, you already have a license with us and you're trading
Yes,
as a sole trader.
yes.
Okay, so from here on, you now need to upload an inquiry on our system, along with your documentation, your incorporation certificate, your memo on arts, and your articles of association. You would upload that on our system, and we will then transition your sole trader tin now into a limited tin.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. I have a question also. How do I go about canceling a business license that is not in use?
Okay. This is the only license you have on your tax identification number?
No, it's another license.
Okay. All right. So there's a process you would go through. We do have it on our website. I will ask Ms. Todd to link it on. It's kind of a lengthy process, but to get it started, you will go to on our OTax and you would go to the tax account and you would click My Tax and you want to amend your tax return. Once you get to that screen, it's going to go through a process. It's going to be like a step-by-step process. The only thing you're doing once you get to that particular license, you're going to enter in the C state.
Okay.
Once you enter in that C state for that particular license, that then comes to us to confirm that you want to cancel this license. And once we get that, the license itself is canceled and the other licenses still stay active.
Okay, so can I do it before the end of December and still get it canceled?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you
Okay.
definitely can do that before that December.
Because this license is actually just being renewed. I was renewing it now for the past I think 4 years, but just hoping at the end of the day that I would have been able to get this business up and running because it's actually something it's a sponging license and our boat is not working. We were trying to get an engine to get this boat up and running, but that didn't happen. So the boat is just sitting there in the yard for about 4 years and not working with no engine. So I just
Okay.
need to terminate that.
Okay, well, it's definitely a little lengthy process. You can get lost doing the process, but I will make sure Mr. Todd upload the step by step for you, and you can
Yes.
just
Thank
follow
you.
it. Is clearly simple once you follow the steps.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have a question as well. Just added to what she said. What if you have a business license and you did not renew it, but you weren't using it? Is there a fee imposed?
Yes, there is a fee imposed. You would have to pay a minimum of $100. We call that a late filing fee.
Just $100, or is it
Yeah,
based on the year?
it'll be $100 per year that the license was not renewed.
Okay.
Good evening. I have a question. Um, you indicated that when we're filing for a business license, I guess come January 31st, 2025, we'll be required to put in a real property tax number
That's if you're at a commercial location.
if we're at a commercial location.
Yes, ma'am. If you're operating for home base, that's not required.
Okay, so if it's from a commercial location, so and how do we obtain a real property tax number if that is the case? And in the past, it was said that family islands are exempt from real property tax.
Yeah, even though Family Island is exempt, we still need the information in our system.
Okay, so how do we obtain a real property tax number?
For you to obtain that, you would have to give us your conveyance, the owner, whoever owns the property. We would need those documentation. That is a totally different process from the registration process of business license. That's required, but you have to show ownership of the property. Once we get those in, passports, whoever owns the property, might be generation property, might be crown line. Whichever it is, we just need all the documentation to register it to yourself.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
With that question asked, you would have to bring the document into Inland Revenue in person, or?
No, everything can be uploaded on our portal. We have gone totally digital. So on our website, inlandrevenue.finance.gov, there's a tab there for the business license. There's a tab there for value-added tax, and there's also a tab there for real property tax.
So in the event you don't have this, the document in hand, what happens then for licensing?
We're not going to hold up your license. We're not going to hold it up. We can just go through the process without it. But if you have it, it's a plus to us. If you don't, we're not going to hold up your license for it. So I don't want you to stop because you don't have it and you cannot continue on. You can.
So because I have the document for my business, not for my business, for my property that I'm on, and my business is on that property. So
Okay.
I have my document, my Crown Land document for that. But my next business, I don't have a document. I put in for it, but it's not confirmed as yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can bring those documents to the department. You can upload it on the portal at your leisure. And we can have that registered to you.
Okay,
So when we look at it in our system, it wouldn't be like just a vacant land. It will not actually have your name on it and a number will be assigned to you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I have a question.
I have a question.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I had something before.
Good evening, all. And the
Whoever
second
is
renewal,
Sherry
I'm questioning in terms of
trying to
renewal, sir.
get the hand up.
Hello?
You can go ahead,
Hello?
sorry.
Yes,
Hi.
and with the information regarding renewal, you're saying that persons who live on the family islands just need to bring a letter from the administrator's office and
No,
lodge
for
a lease for renewal.
for renewals. No,
uh-huh.
for renewals, you just need to indicate what your actual turnover is, and then you're going to give us an estimate for 25.
Okay.
So when you now go to renew now in 2025,
Uh-huh.
the actual for 24 is going to be outstanding. You're going to fill out the actual for 24, and then you're going to give us an estimate like you did this year of what you're going to predict to make in 25.
Okay.
If you're over the threshold, if you're over the 250,000, you're going to need the documents. If you're under, I just advise people just do a little Excel spreadsheet. Business made 5,000, 2,000.
Okay. Okay, thank you there.
You're welcome.
Okay, my question is, okay, I think Norma asked earlier about business being not uh basically something she's doing, even though she have the business license. My question is similar, but what if you have a business license, but you didn't pay it for various reasons? How do you go about that? If you have a reason for, the business was open, but it wasn't open, kind of thing. How do
Okay,
you navigate
so
that?
what do you want to do with the business? You want to renew it or you want to
Yeah.
cancel it?
No, I want to
You want to
renew it,
renew.
but there were some technicalities that we weren't able to open. We had to get our national insurance up to date. We finally did. So now it's up to date. So, we weren't able to do it because we didn't have national insurance. So now that we have it up to date, I'm saying now we want to renew it. But
Okay,
I'm not
all right.
thinking we want to pay the different, because we weren't really functioning like that.
Okay, so all
So,
right, so you'll be subject to pay the minimum fee.
okay,
If payment of the fee is an issue, we do have a payment plan section
okay.
that that works with you. You come down with a 10% of the amount owed, and then you can do monthly payments.
Okay, so there's no way around not paying that, even though you weren't able to function because you didn't have your national insurance.
That's correct. There's no way around.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I see
So
a
I have
hand from
another
Miss Sherry
question. Hold on,
Nemar.
can I ask my question?
That's Miss Nemar.
Good night. Yes, Ms.
Okay, go
Nemo
ahead, Miss
Brown.
Nemar.
Okay. If I have a business license and I need to add another supporting business, do I need a new license?
No, you don't need a new license. As a sole trader, you can have up to multiple licenses under your sole trader TIN. So you would just need to get the prerequisites, the trade name, your NIB registration, for you guys, an island administrator letter, and you would just upload that onto our portal. The instructions for adding a new license on existing TIN is on our website and on our social media page. You can just follow the steps to follow that process.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, I have another question. So the annual estimate that has to be filed when you're reapplying for a business license.
Uh-huh.
So you have the annual and you have the annual estimate.
The actual and the annual estimate,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So at the end of the day, persons have to pay the fee on the annual,
On the
and then
actual,
there's an additional fee on the estimate.
yes.
So it's like the government is charging a percentage for 20, like we're in 2024. So we paid whatever was due for 2024. And then we have to pay a good chunk for 2025.
Yes, you pay on the actual because that was the previous year return, and then you pay on the estimate. Now, the actual and the estimate, the figures should be the same. So you will be paying the same amount twice. However, what happens is if you would have filed your actual this year for 23, and then you would have paid on your estimate. When 25 now rolls around, that same payment you would have made on the estimate, that is then applied to your 24 actual. And then you pay the difference of that amount that's due.
Okay, so basically the government just collecting some extra chunk ahead of time.
Well, we're collecting what's due. It's just that our timing has changed. So where you would have been paying us this fee at the end of the previous year, we asking for it in the present year.
Yes, in advance. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I might ask, is there any other presentations tonight, or basically that was one and now the rest of the time is question and answer?
It is only one presentation this evening.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have a next question, if I'm
Go ahead.
allowed.
Yes, ma'am, you're
Okay,
allowed.
so if your NIB is not paid up, would you be able to renew your license?
Yes, we are a revenue generating department. We leave the NIB and the other prerequisites up to you guys to deal with. We don't hold you up. The only way NIB will hold you up if you trying to apply for a tax compliance certificate if you're working with the government. I'm
Yeah,
also now seeing that the banks are now asking for tax compliance certificates. This will hold you up in that regard. But as
yes.
for your business license, once you pay inland revenue, we have
Mhm.
NIB and their officers going after their funds with you.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You can go ahead, Granville.
Yes, good evening. My
Good evening.
question is, I would like to know the requirements if I want to register a construction company.
Okay, and you're starting a construction company in the island as well?
Yeah, in Andrews.
Okay. You will need your trade name approval. You would need the island administrator letter to give you approval for the construction company, NIB registration, your passport, and if you don't have the new passport, you can also give us your NIB card.
Okay,
Once
okay.
the business is home base, once it's home base, and it's a construction company, the prerequisites are very nil. Is not as much as if you're at a commercial location that requires more.
Okay, then thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
This isn't a question, but this is a comment. I was so afraid to talk to you people, but you make this so simple. I appreciate this so much. Because I usually have someone just do the process of filling out the business license for me. Because they made it sound like it's so tedious, but you make it sound so nice and simple. Thank you so much.
No, it
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. It is very simple. If you, like I tell persons, if you can order an Amazon package online, you can apply for your business license. That's how simple it is.
Hello, can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Can you tell me where do I find the application form for a business license?
Okay, the form is on our website. It's not really a form, it's an online process that you go through.
Okay.
You will go to our website, inlandrevenue.finance.gov.bs. If you don't have an account with us, you would create an account. If you're applying for the first time, you need to make sure get your prerequisites first before you could create the account. Once you have the prerequisites, then you can go ahead, create the account, and fill out the online application process.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have one more question concerning persons who would have had accounts already. What do we do if you forget your password? That's always been a problem for me.
Yeah, okay, well, now on the new platform, you can click to the bottom, it says forget password. Once you click that,
Okay.
it sends a code to your email address. Once you
Right.
use that code and log back in, you can reset your password.
Perfect.
I
Perfect.
just
Thank
did
you so
it.
much.
I just did it a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
So that part is easy. I just did it.
Mhm.
Is there a video that we can watch with the process to show you how to apply for the business license and stuff like that, step by step?
Yes, there is a link my colleague has put in the chat for you guys. You can follow the YouTube video. Once you follow that, I would also advise you to like our YouTube video page. We upload videos and information daily on that page.
That gives us a discount.
No, no, it doesn't.
Just asking. I would like to know because I get like that every minute.
Well, the more you like it, the better we know our information is getting to you guys.
Okay.
Good evening. I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
If you're an existing business and have your business license already, do we still have to go into the administrator office and get the letter plus upload the real tax paperwork?
No, not if you have an existing license. No,
Okay.
you just go through the renewal process.
Okay. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Question: if you're starting a business from a commercial establishment, what is the process?
Okay, for a commercial establishment in the island, you will need your trade name approval. If you're that's only if you're using the trading as name. If you're using a limited company, we're going to need the limited documentation. You also need your island administrator approval. You're going to need the island administrator approval will give you the approval for the Ministry of Works and the physical planning of the building. You would need environmental health. Environmental health normally is carried by the island administrator as well. There are some islands that do have environmental health there. I'm not sure if Andres is one of those, but if it is, you'll need the environmental health. You also need the lease agreement from the landlord. If the business is providing any liquor, you would need to get police approval. Apart from that, we'll need some identification as to who are the owners of the building. So passport, NIB cards, we would need those as well. And you'll also need NIB business registration.
I have two questions for you, one from the chat and one from social media. One is, what are the requirements for foreigners to apply for a business license?
All right, for foreigners, it depends what type of business is it. Foreigners, the first step you would take would be getting approval from the Bahamas Investment Authority. Once you get that approval, then you can go ahead to kind of streamline what type of business it is. Mostly businesses, construction, maintenance, plumbing, electrical, all of those business. As a foreigner, once you get the Bahamas Investment Authority approval, that kind of gives you the right to have a license in our island. So from there, you'll still deal with the trade name. You'll still deal with NIB business registration. We also need your identification. And if it's liquor you're selling, we're also going to need police approval. So it kind of depends what type of nature it is. If it's a regular rated nature, like the doctors, the dentists, the lawyers, we will need your documentation from those type of associations. If it's anything dealing with food, you're going to need environmental health, food and clothing, anything that touches the human body or goes in the human body. Environmental health is also needed.
Okay, the other question is, good night. I have a question regarding renewals. My license is valid, but has not been operational since last renewal. I've renewed it to ensure I have the option to operate in the near future. Is there another special renewal process for persons who simply want to keep the trading name but may not be operating or generating revenue?
No, to keep the operating trading name, you would just need to renew the license every year. Once the license is kept active, the trading name stays.
Mr. Pratt has a question.
Yeah, thanks so much. Ms. Barton, we have a number of persons in the cluster their businesses range from straw craft to transportation to accommodations. And certainly we do have some persons who own Airbnbs, persons who own vacation villas, who rent those villas. Could you tell us what the requirements are for those persons? Is it the same?
Okay. Now, for short term, are these persons foreigners or these are Bahamians?
Some are Bahamians, some are foreign.
Okay. All right. So as a Bahamian, if you have a short-term rental and it is in your name, you're a sole trader, you don't have to get a business license. That's the joy of being a Bahamian. You don't have to get that. If you incorporate that Airbnb and there's a limited structure with that, you then have to register your business with the department. So for those, we will need the ownership, your land ownership. There's also an application on our website called Vacation Rentals. You would need to fill that out. It's a list of different stuff that you have to check off. If you have carbon monoxide, if you have fire extinguishers, these are the list of questions that you go through to get the vacation rental form. Once you get that approval, then you would then go onto our website and you will do NIB business registration. NIB goes with everything. I just want to put that out there. You cannot get a business license without a business NIB number. So once you get your business NIB number, you would need the approval from the island administrator. If the business then goes over 100,000, you are then in the category of being vatable. So you would then have to register with VAT. We require you to have a bank account, a business bank account or a personal bank account. You would need all of that before you can submit your application. If you are a foreigner, if it's a foreign-owned Airbnb, you are required by law to be registered with the department for business license as well as VAT, whether you make 100,000 or not. For that, you will still go to the vacation rental application process, and we will need some identification from the foreigner and ownership of the land, whether it be the conveyance or whatever ownership documents the foreigner has along with their passport. There's no need for a business NIB for the foreigner because this is only a rental for them, a second home for them. If it was too much information, we also do have that on our website as well, as what is the prerequisites for short-term rentals.
All right. There any other questions for Ms. Barton?
Did you say there's a contact person that if we run into some challenges, we can reach out to?
Yes, we do have a client services department that deal with all things client services. The number is 225-72. I think it's 225-7280.
So it's client services, and that's basically in Nassau.
Yes, that's in Nassau. We don't have a representative down there in Andros. If there's any questions, the island administrator also knows how to contact the department as well.
They can also email us at taxinquiries@bahamas.gov.bs. I'll drop this.
Tax inquiries at what?
Bahamas.gov.bs.
gov.bs. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
If you are starting a transportation company, what's the variant there?
Okay, when you say transportation company, are you getting a taxi plate? Are you getting a livery plate?
It could be a livery plate. It could be other forms of transportation. You mean like
Okay.
car rentals and mopeds or bicycles or whatever.
Okay, so for anything rental on the line, you would need road traffic approval. If you have your SD plate, road traffic would have given you a letter to say that you have 4, 5, how much ever plates it is. If it's a taxi, road traffic always gives you a letter to say that you're approved for taxi number XYZ, and also for delivery plate. So you would need the letter from road traffic. If you're using a trading as name, you're going to need your trade name approval. You're going to have to do the NIB business registration, and then your passport and your NIB card.
So that's just for new persons with trans, because if I'm already in that, I don't need that.
Well, that's if you are registered with us. That's a new. If you're in it and you're already registered, you're only doing the renewal process.
Right, okay.
I have a question on Facebook. They're asking, can you discuss the process for food truck license?
Okay, food truck licenses. Now the food truck licenses came up during COVID. So this is kind of a work in progress. You would need for the island, you would need environmental health, the island administrator approval. Environmental health is going to do a thorough view of the truck. If hot water is running to the truck, how you function in the truck. Once you get those two out of your way, those are going to be the two major ones. Trade name approval, NIB registration, and your passport of whoever is involved in the business with you. If it's a partnership, you're going to need all of the partner's passport and NIB card.
I have another question. All incorporated entities and non-behemoths are required to register for business license and value-added tax.
If they have a short-term vacation rental, yes.
Mr. Pratt, I see your hand up.
Yeah, thanks. What if you residing currently in Nassau, you have a business license, but you want to do business in Andros, or you want to do business in Andros? You have to register. How does that work?
Are you open up a branch? Are your main location is in Nassau and you're now moving to the island?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you can add a branch. You will need to get the island administrator approval for the business, wherever it's going to be. You don't have to do the NIB registration over. You will need the island administrator approval. You can use the same trade name as well. I've seen persons use location 1, location 2. So the main thing is you'll need the island administrator approval. Is like he's giving you permission to be on his island, and he now knows that you are there on the island. So you need the island administrator approval. You'll also need, if it's a commercial location, you're gonna need your lease agreement. If it's a home base, the island administrator give you the approval for the home base. So the only thing we'll need from you is the island administrator letter, and you would upload that on our portal, and we will add a branch on for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have another question, please.
Sure.
I wanted to ask the question, is the Outer Island hotels under, I think, 10 rooms, if I'm not mistaken, exempt, tax exempt?
Any rooms under 10, yes. Once you're under the threshold, you are exempt.
Okay, but I got charged tax, and when I asked, it wasn't an answer given to me. Not to bring that up, but I just wanted to ask and make sure.
Okay, you can just send your TIN in the chat, and I
Yes.
will follow up on that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I had another question from online. Back for the food truck. They said Nassau specifically, they just wanted to reaffirm for the food truck they needed environmental health, NIB, passport, name approval. They want to know if they missed anything.
Say it again.
They had environmental health, NIB, passport, name approval, and I guess a vendor permit. Did
This is
they?
in Nassau?
Yes. Any other questions?
If you're actually establishing a commercial business on a piece of land that you have to build, do you need the whole certificate of clearance would have come before this whole process, or you need to include that?
Can you repeat it again, please?
If you are building a commercial business on vacant land, the whole certificate, the what is it? Depth requirements are prerequisites, or they don't come before you at all?
You're building a commercial location on a vacant land.
Yes.
Those prerequisites come after the building is completed.
The certificate of clearance, that usually comes before you build. But I'm just wondering, you don't need any of those documents.
For a vacant land?
If you're building something on vacant property, on
Is it
property.
your property, or is someone else's
Yes,
property you're
yeah,
building
yeah.
on?
Let's say it's my property.
Uh-huh.
I'm just wondering if, like, the assessment for the vacant land, you would need that, right?
Yes. You would need the assessment for the vacant land. Is the vacant land, you only get the assessment number if the vacant land is registered with the department. Is the vacant land registered with the department?
This is hypothetical. I don't have, I'm just
Oh,
trying.
but okay, so before a building can be done on any vacant land, you need Ministry of Works permit. That comes first. So you need to get a permit to start to build on the land.
Right. I know they need a certificate of clearance.
Right. They need a CEC from the EPP.
Right. And you need an assessment?
No. This is after the structure is already on the building. The vacant land, if the vacant land is registered with the department, you would already have an assessment number.
Oh, okay. So does that change? So nothing changes once you've completed building? Once you've completed building, you already have the assessment number is for vacant land. Is there an assessment number for the building?
Well, what then happens? It now needs to move from vacant land now to a commercial building. So then a value is assessed, and then that's what you need to bring to the department so we can move it from a vacant land into a commercial building.
That's what I wanted. Okay.
Yeah. So once the building is completed, you get your works approval to start the process of building it.
Mhm.
Once that completed, then you come to the department saying that this is the value now of the building, this is the value of my land. And then we go ahead and assess taxes to you because as a commercial, you are not exempted.
Okay, we have another question from Mr. Pratt.
Yeah, thanks again. Ms. Barton, I don't remember this being addressed, but we do have a number of persons in the cluster that are micro enterprises, maybe operating, selling bread from home, you doing straw work, whatever, and they don't see themselves necessarily as a business. And then the time comes when they need to do business with a government entity. Let's say somebody who's doing catering, and I, from the Ministry of Tourism, want to use their services. But then, in trying to engage them, we are unable to do business with them because they're not a licensed company, or they do not have a TIN number. Maybe you can explain to persons on the line the necessity for having a business license and the benefits of having a TIN registration.
Okay, so let me go back to the beginning of my presentation where I talked about that if you're giving a service and a fee is rendered, you are considered a business, which requires you to have a business license. So I think there needs to be more knowledge about if I sell you bread, if I sell you juices, honey, and in exchange there is monies given, then that is considered a business. That is the definition directly from our act. So once that is a clear understanding, the benefit of them having a business license is they don't lose the opportunity on these kind of contracts. They can gain more if they're licensed. More businesses are willing to work with them if they're licensed with the government.
Well, I just would like to say that I'm a artisan. I do straw, and I was licensed from I think 2020. I haven't missed the year, 2019 or 2020.
And we thank you for that.
Yes. And I think in my community, I probably is the only person that have license for doing straw work. But yes, I have it.
Yes, we thank you. The department thanks you.
Okay, I think with my challenge in getting onto the website has always been my username. So how do I go about getting that?
Do you know your tax identification number?
I have it on my business license. That's what you mean, right? The TIN number?
Yeah. Normally the username is probably your first and last name with the
Right.
number 1 behind it.
Oh, I think that's what it is. Normally your middle initials too?
Yeah, if you would have included in your initial application, the middle initial will be there as well.
With the number 1 on the back. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, if you have any issues, you can send an email to tax inquiries, give them your TIN, and they can confirm your username for you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
have a Facebook question. There's been a few requests that the license be provided before receiving a lease, which contradicts the business license department asking for confirmation of location, permit, and lease. And the person's asking, they're not sure how to navigate that.
Where is the lease from?
All right, Ms. Bo. Where's the lease from, Ms. Bo? Just waiting for them to type it out.
But in any event, Ms. Bo, the lease is required before the license is issued. There needs to be confirmation of the rental that you're renting at this space. So the lease is required before the license is issued. Yeah, the lease is needed before we can issue you the business license.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick turn. What we want to do for persons who may be first-time business applicants is just to show how to go through the process of applying for your trade name, which is one of the requirements for applying for your business license. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
So you would go to inlandrevenue.finance.gov.bs, go to business license, applying for the first time. One of the first things you'll be looking at is the type of business that you need. But in this instance, you go to step number 2, where you'd be looking for your trade name. And you would click here for trade name. If you were looking for a limited company, you would have to actually go to the Registrar General's office to actually apply for your name for your limited company. So you would then go to individual or partnership. Now, I will say in instances for example, Wendy's, which is actually owned by ATO's Holding Limited, you can still register the trade name for the company, such as Wendy's, but the limited aspect would have to be done at the Register General's office. Next, you go to individual or partnership. Hit next. Enter your name. If you had a partner, you would also enter your partner's name, or at least one of your partner's names. Enter your email, and please, in doing so, make sure that the email is correct. Otherwise, you wouldn't get the authorization or the information that would actually come to you pertaining to your trade name. If you had a TIN already and a trade name and you were just re-registering, this is where you would actually put your TIN number. Now, two things to point out to make very important. You will ask for 3 trade names. The first one is the one that you really want. So let's say we say Fred's Pizza Shack, which would be your first choice. And then your third choice. This would be to make sure at the end of the day that you're able to get your name registered. If the first name or the second name is not available, then most likely you will be able to get the third. Then you would describe the nature of the business. Enter your street address.
Quick question about the 3 trade name registrations.
City.
I have a quick question.
Your box. Your island. In this instance, it would most likely be Andros or Nassau. Your telephone contact.
Quick question about the registration of the names.
The document that is absolutely necessary would be your passport to upload. Because if you don't upload your passport, it is most likely 2 things. One, you would not be approved, as well as the system would not actually allow you to submit your documents. Once all of that is actually uploaded, you hit submit, and then your application for your trade name would actually be in. Once all of the documents that you require have already been entered, the process usually takes no more than 24 hours. That is, once there's no instance or any problems with what has been. Any questions?
Yes, I have a quick question.
Sorry, go ahead, Ms. Thompson.
Ro, when you do the first, second, and third name, let's just say they take your first name.
Mm-hmm.
Who controls the other 2 names for ambush marketing?
They wouldn't be used.
I'm sorry?
They wouldn't be used. If you got your first name, those other 2 names are just to make sure in the instance the first name is not approved or is already utilized, that you have your second and your third option. After that point, those names would not be utilized.
Okay.
The other thing I forgot to also include, the trade names now are a $25 fee for when you're registering any new trade name. Mr. Curtis, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I had 2 questions, but I guess my first is in relation to the trade names. Because I applied for a trade name. I got the trade name, but then I think they spelt it incorrectly. When I got the approval, and I'm just trying to determine if I should go through with the process again because of like all the documentation, like with my NIB, etc., in the name that I wanted it to be, but the trade name from like is different.
Okay, I would tell you in that instance, most likely you would need that probably resubmitted again so that it can be and attach the old one And in the comments, let them know that you're doing it so that they can make the correction. So you can have the correct trade that you're asking.
Okay, and then my other question, if I'm running a business and offering a service, is it possible to have multiple entities under one license, or do I need to have a different license for different types of services I offer? So let's say if I'm doing tours and I run a farm, how does that?
The question is, are all these sole proprietorships or are these different natures of business?
I mean, well, they're partnerships, but the different natures of business.
Yeah, so each of them would actually have a different tin in that regards. No? One second.
Mr. Curtis,
Yes.
as long as the nature is different, you would need a new license. As a
Hi, Mr. Curtis.
Yes.
As the nature changes, you need a new license. So if you're doing boating and then you're doing farm, that's two different licenses you need with us.
You also said different partnerships.
Now, if it's different partnerships, so just say that the farm has J and Doe. That's one partnership. And then now J and Doe now wants to add another license with a different nature. Or even if Jay wants to transition over with Tracy, Jay and Tracy would need a separate TIN number.
Okay.
Mr. Curtis, I saw your hand up earlier.
Yeah, no, I think.
So if we expand on that, if the company, for example, is for farming, and under you have trading. Now let's say you want to open a shop. That can go under the farm company if it's not farm related shop items you're selling, or
Are you selling the goods from the farm?
no, it's not.
No, so you'll need a separate license.
Right, a separate license, but can it go under that company?
Yeah, if they're all under the limited structure, you can add a license under that.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Barton? One of the things we also probably want to clarify, because I think persons still get mixed up, is your TIN will indicate whether or not you're charged for VAT. So if you're a sole proprietor and you have multiple businesses, wouldn't all of those multiple businesses count under that one TIN?
Yeah, as a sole trader, you can not have more. You can only have one TIN. So with you having one TIN, you can have multiple licenses under that TIN. Just say you have 10 licenses. And out of those 10 licenses, you have met the threshold of $100,000. Each license does $50,000. That takes you automatically over the 100,000 threshold. As a sole trader, you are required to register for VAT. Once you reach the threshold, it is deemed by law that you register for VAT.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So if we have no more questions, we close the session this evening. I would say to persons as well, please, our website has a lot of information on it. inlandrevenue.finance.gov.bs, which will enable you to have a lot of your questions answered, as well as please feel free to call us, email us, or contact us, and we'll be happy to answer any questions as well. The session will be available on our YouTube as well as our Facebook pages. I've dropped the link inside of the chat for anybody as well as it'll be available on our website, uploaded where you can access it and follow up on any of the questions and queries that we may have answered. Again, thank you so much for your time this evening. And please have a good and a wonderful evening. Good night, everyone.
Good night, sir. Thank you so much.
Good night. Good night. Thank you.